Hi, thank you. So I'm going to step away. We've had a lot of engineering discussion. I am here visiting the San Fernando Valley, my home today, from Sacramento, and I represent an elected official. Some of you I know are aware of who she is. I work for the California State Treasurer. Currently, our state's treasurer is Fiona Ma. And within the State Treasurer's organization, there are various boards and commissions and financing authorities, and I represent one of those financing authorities called the California Pollution Control Financing Authority. I'm going to explain to you the history of our name, and I'm going to tie in and explain to you how we got ourselves involved in the lending specifically for seismic retrofit loans. Okay, so a little bit of background on our organization. We, as the name suggests, pollution control, we are in our origin an environmental financing authority. Our core mission is to help find financing or assist with the financing for environmental cleanup, which produces economic development and job creation throughout the state. Our origin is as a conduit issuer of private activity tax exemptions through bonds, so financing of bonds. And we also got into the business of credit enhancement, loans, and also grants. So we've got three distinct areas that we work within in our one organization. Our acronym is CPCFA, and as I said, we have been very successful as a conduit issuer of those tax-exempt bonds. And because we were so successful, we found ourselves in the early 1990s with a pot of money, and there were some very smart people that figured out that we could do more for the state of California for economic development, to enhance small business lending, and to grow our economy. And so in one program, we created the Small Business Assistance Fund. If you're a small business and you are in the business of pollution control, all the major trash haulers, recycling businesses up and down the state of California have come to us for those tax-exempt bond financings. If they are of a smaller size one, they get an enhancement from the SPAF funds. The other thing that was able to be done with the dollars that we had accumulated was the creation of the program I'm going to talk to you about today. It's called CalCAP, California Access to Capital. And it is a financing credit enhancement program, which I'll explain a little bit more about. And then the third program, which is an important one, and I hope that you will be reading about it in the year to come, it is at its origin a brownfield program. Brownfields are parcels of land throughout the state of California, and urban, rural, all sorts of locations that have some form of toxicity, whether it's the soils or the groundwater. We are finding in the state of California that we would like to have a lot of infill development. Housing is a big issue right now. I know Treasurer Ma and Governor Newsom, as our local governments, are all trying to collaborate on housing. There's an incredible opportunity to develop on those brownfield sites. We've had a program for some time, and our $60 million funds are all spoken for. There are projects. In fact, there was a slide from Evan, an earlier speaker, about a project in San Francisco. There are projects all around the state of California that we've been able to assist through grants and loans to remediate, and also to assist in the development, and in exchange to develop new stock affordable housing. And so we are going to be seeking an additional recapitalization of this program because we've made our mark on California, particularly in environmentally and economically sensitive communities, and we want to see more of that happen. So stay tuned. Okay, specifically the CalCAP program. This is what we call our loan program. We work with lenders. We don't write the loans through our organizations. The lenders write the loans and provide the private capital. Think of CalCAP as having 6 distinct programs. We've been around doing this since 1994. We've been very successful, and what happens when you're good at doing something is people think you could do more with what you have. And so the California legislature has gifted us a couple of new programs in recent years. But in our origin, we started out with CalCAP for small business. We work with lenders. We've got a double-sided list of lenders all throughout the state of California. Very successful program. So if you have a small business and you would like some opportunities to discuss lending, this is an avenue for you to look at. Our lenders are diverse, and the terms of those loans are diverse as well. We also have a very successful program, an important one, called collateral support. It's a different kind of credit enhancement for borrowers with strong business plans who find themselves short some extra cash. And so we've been able to help major projects throughout the state of California who come up short. They might already have all their financing in place, they're about to open up their business site, and they realize they have some additional expenses they didn't expect, and they need a little bit extra. And that's what that program assists with. Now, a program that we administer for the Air Resources Board, if anybody's in the transportation sector, you'll know our on-road heavy-duty truck program. And really quickly, Americans with Disabilities Act, I suspect that the lawsuit that we learned about earlier, the building owners spent $250,000 on an elevator, it may have had at its origin an ADA complaint for disability access to the building. Building owners are under a lot of pressure. And the ADA issue is a sensitive one for small businesses, particularly minority-owned businesses, because they are very vulnerable to threats and demands of litigation for non-ADA compliance. So this is a program that we run also. And if you're interested in EV charging, look us up. I could talk to you about that, but I'm here to talk about seismic safety today. Okay. In the beginning, after the Northridge earthquake, having myself been here after the Northridge earthquake, there was a lot of discussion about how we were going to help fund and finance, and even in some instances, people were talking about how would we require people to retrofit. It took 20 years for the city of LA and now other cities, including West Hollywood and Pasadena, and certainly cities in like San Francisco and Oakland, Santa Monica, they're independently doing mandatory retrofit ordinances. They do not have grant dollars to give out to their citizens most of the time, with a few exceptions. A few have been successful in getting federal grants. And so there's been long talked about need for some funding source. And we come into this discussion because originally there was a bill sponsored by Assemblyman Nazarian, Northridge. It was a very different program model that through the legislative process became eventually our program. It went into the budget cycle to create our program, and those smart people at the legislature decided CalCAP at CPCFA has been doing such a good job with small business. Let's give them this program to administer. Okay, we received $10 million. That is not money that we're direct lending. That is money to incentivize lending by the private lenders. So for our $10 million, we should be seeing 50, 100, or more multipliers of how much money needs to be invested by the private lenders for the stock of buildings we have in California in need of seismic retrofitting. The goal of our program is to exactly that, incentivize, okay? Who qualifies? All right, most borrowers, building owners specifically, are not going to know that there is a program within the State Treasurer's organization that has anything to do with their loan. If they find one of our lenders know our program, they lend and then they enroll the loan. So they're going to identify who qualifies. That's their requirement as one of our preferred lenders. It's very basic. 500 or fewer, own a property, residential or commercial, or have a small business. The seismic retrofit construction that's being done for the purpose of this loan needs to simply be on a building that needs retrofitting and is of a type that is potentially vulnerable. We do not worry about wood frame, unreinforced masonry, cement. We do not discriminate. It is not our place. This program is as bland and as generic as it needs to be to accommodate as government continues to roll out their programs and engineers figure out what needs to be done. Things that can be included in a loan: anchoring of the foundation, bracing cripple walls, bracing hot water heaters, and a really important one, I'm going to leave you to read the rest of them. This program includes financing for mobile homes. There are mobile home parks throughout California, extremely important housing stock right now and always. But in the Napa earthquake, we lost a mobile home park to a firestorm because the tanks ignited when those mobile homes were knocked off their foundation. So it's important that this program includes financing, and those would be very small loans to make those safe. Okay. The loan program requires there to be a financial institution that participates in the program. The loan enrollment maximum amount is $250,000. I've heard the engineers at other events. That would be a massive building. Most of these multi-unit apartment buildings need less than 6 figures, but should it be a building that needs $250,000, this program accommodates you. It can be enrolled up to 10 years. The loan can be for a 20-year or 30-year period. That's between the borrower and the lender. All of the underwriting is between the borrower and the lender. This is just about securing the loan, to incentivize the loan. Okay, and I've just spoken these points. The loan terms are identified to you, the borrower, by the lender in a typical discussion between the two. This is our website. Come find us. There's a lot of information there. There's some basic FAQs. The quick links on the left-hand side is where you're going to find our participating lender list. This is our list. We have 3 lenders currently enrolled. We've done 2 loans through Pacific Enterprise Bank, the second one on the list. Both of them are multi-unit dwellings in Los Angeles County. We have a list if you're interested. We're always looking for lenders. If you happen to know a local community-based lender, please turn them on to us and let them know. There's a lot of competition out there, but we need to encourage the private lending institutions to give these loans out, because the very large banks that own our mortgages are not writing the loans for seismic retrofits. These are important contacts for you to find. Please follow us on Twitter. That's your next presenter. And on that table over there, I have a one-page sheet and my business card as well. Thank you so much.